Hello everyone, my name is Remy. I work with the eStaker team and I'm joined today by SuperPhiz. Hey SuperPhiz, how are you doing?
Hi, Remy. It's been a while. It's so great to see you.
It's very nice to see you again. Today we're going to be talking about some of the new Pectra features. There's a new fork coming up called Pectra. That includes a bunch of new features for staking, and I've seen you chat about this a few times on Reddit. And then there might be a few confusions around all of these new features, so we'll go around and see what's new with Pectra. So we've got the slides here that we'll be showing. Nothing special with this one. Some of the general stuff about Pectra. So just like all the other forks, Pectra is another one of these protocol upgrade that are being implemented. In fact, there have been a few debates about like how long Pectra has been in the work and like how these forks should be happening. But you should only know that it includes changes on the consensus side and on the execution side called Electra and Prague. So Pectra is this combination of both. And the dates for the testnets are already planned for. So if you're running nodes on Holsky or Sepolia, you should know that you will have to update your clients just like all the previous forks. And these are the dates. So on Holsky, it will happen on February 24. And on Sepolia, it will happen on March 5. And then if everything goes right, it should afterwards be planned for mainnet. So I'm not sure. Do you have any guesses on like when we'll see this on mainnet?
No, I'm too out of the loop. I don't even have. I mean, April, but I do genuinely expect it in April.
Maybe
But
end of March, like 2 weeks
maybe.
after Sepolia. We'll see.
I mean, there's always something.
Yeah,
But this doesn't include my favorite testnet ever,
which is
Ephemery.
yeah,
It's
that's the good one. We already passed and implemented Pectra on Ephemery, but
yeah.
that's a
Can
topic
I
for
can I
another day.
shill
Go ahead.
can I shill Ephemery for 2 seconds?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because it's my favorite thing right now. So because I have been dreaming of the Ephemery testnet probably like 5 years, and I'm really appreciative that I know you like pushed for it in a lot of different ways, and it's one of the things I dropped the ball on and forgot about, and then suddenly like Remy's like, hey, Ephemery is live. So Ephemery is a Ethereum testnet. It is just like Ethereum, except so it's very similar to Haleski and Sepolia, except it resets every 28 days, and Ether is trivial to get. Anybody, even using your phone, you can go to a simple proof of work mining interface. You can get 1,000 Ephemery Ether. You can go and deposit it as a staker on the Ephemery testnet. You can deploy contracts. Right now, Iceland is deploying Rocket Pool to Ephemery. You can do any crazy, dumb thing that you should never do on an Ethereum network on Ephemery. And then 28 days later, it's going to be wiped and we're going to start all over. So it is, I am so deeply appreciative of you for, and I don't know how deeply you were involved because I've been out of the loop, but I know that it was important to you and I appreciate you for being a part of getting it over the finish line.
There's a lot of people involved now with Ephemery, and I'm glad a lot of people joined, like you being a node operator for the network. But yeah, if you have like a simple hello world smart contract that you want to do, Ephemery is a great place to deploy it because it'll just be wiped every few days.
And there's no glut. So if you decide to join Ephemery, you can sync the chain in 5 minutes and you're up and running. None of this like waiting hours stuff. It's instant and you're up and you're live.
It's awesome. Let's get going with some of the new
Sorry.
Pectra features. That's totally fine. So some of the
What
main
if
ones
I slide Ephemery in every 5 minutes? Sorry.
that would be quite funny, actually. So some of the new features that we will see with Pectra, I guess the biggest one is the compounding validators from EIP 7251. I believe those are the biggest changes that will go further in. We also have like the user triggered exit and withdrawal from EIP 7002. More blobs from EIP 7691 and faster deposit from EIP 6110. You should know that those are only a subset of like the whole amount of EIPs being included. If you want to see the whole list, there's a few reference that we can add to this video afterwards. But these are the most staking related EIPs. Let's get started with.
Can I say?
Yeah, go ahead.
Nothing. You're fine.
Oh,
I was going to say there's two words for each of those. Sort of like the first one is compounding, and that's great. Everybody knows you're going to be able on whole balance withdrawals. You're going to get more money. And the second one is user forced withdrawals. That means that if you stake with a service, they can exit you. And the third one being blobs, which really just for stakers means that you're going to use more space on your hard drive. Like that's the only. Yeah, sorry, I'm done.
That's fine.
I'm an interrupter. I love you, Rémy.
Let's keep going. So for compounding validators, so this is the biggest one. This is the new one. You'll be able to use these new types of validators that will have a maximum effective balance of 2048 ETH. So I guess the main reasoning behind adding this new type of validator is to reduce the work of node operators and the network as a whole. So instead of like potentially running 64 regular validator, if I can call them that way, with 32 ETH each, you could run like a single one with 2048 ETH on it, and the rewards that you will get will be very similar to what you would get with like the previous 64 validators with only 32 ETH. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's great. And still, even though the rewards are increased, the penalties are still fair. That was an important part of the spec that I noticed, that it doesn't mean like if you have a 2048 ETH validator and you get slashed that you're going to like lose a ton of ETH. Well, and we shouldn't worry about slashing. We should worry about missing attestations. It's not going to be severe for, you're not going to have missed everything on that attestation. You'll just have a kind of kind penalty.
Yes, exactly. And they also reduced the overall slashing penalties, right? So I believe it was reduced by 32x. So if you get slashed after Pectra, the amount of ETH that you will lose are going to be reduced compared to previously.
Fear of slashing is one of the, I think, one of the biggest sources of disinformation that has scared people away from solo and home staking. And so it's a little late, but I'm glad to see them taking more teeth out of that risk.
Exactly. People are very scared about this, but this is usually very easy to avoid if you just are very conscious about like how you handle your validator keys and how they're being run. Some people were concerned about this new type of validator, but if you just want to keep running your old style validator, you can always run them as they were before. Nothing will change about this. Sorry, I changed it.
I was actually not going to upgrade to OXO2 until I really like actually read the spec, and I'm like, because I was hesitant about it at first, but now I'm actually very excited to upgrade.
Yeah, and since I'm also running a few validators, maybe I'll consolidate them in a single one, and it'll be much easier for me to handle them as well. So to me, even as a solo validator, this is very interesting in terms of like how it reduces my work and how I can easily compound my rewards. And one additional thing that it's not included in this slide here is you can get rewards on like fractional validator, right? So similar to how you would get rewards using some kind of liquid staking protocol, above one validator, meaning that you need to have at least 32 ETH. If, for instance, you want to deposit one additional ETH on this new compounding validator, meaning you'll get like 33. This whole 33 ETH is going to work towards rewarding you with this new type of validator.
Can I speak to clarify one of my biggest misunderstandings? It was one of the reasons that I was very hesitant about max EB, and that is I was not aware that you could deposit 1 Ether onto your existing 32 Ether validator and claim rewards for 33 Ether. My initial interpretation was that you had to deposit a whole additional validator or 32 Ether or accumulate rewards up to 33 Ether to get that max EB of 33 Ether. And you've helped me learn that you can truly deposit 1 additional Ether and get the benefit of a 33 Ether validator, which is very valuable to home and solo stakers.
Yeah, this is very interesting. And if you just want to naturally let your balance increase, eventually you'll just get compounding rewards, right? So as you get to these additional integer increments, you'll get more rewards that are equivalent to like fractional validators, or like if you get to an additional 32 step, then you'll get like the equivalent of another validator's reward. So this is the meat of this whole Pectra fork, but there's a few other ones. This is the user triggered exit and withdrawals. What this will enable you to do is simply exit your validator or withdraw any amount from your new compounding validator through some regular wallet transaction. This will be mostly.
I know,
go ahead, Fizz.
Rocket Pool has been interested in this for a long time, but I'm not really clear on exactly what the benefit to a system like Rocket Pool is. I assume that you know that.
So I guess they'll be able to control exit and withdrawal from the withdrawal address, right? So the withdrawal address is really the one in control of these features. So if your withdrawal address is pointed to some kind of smart contract, and that smart contract is controlled through some kind of like protocol or governance, anyone controlling that address will be able to perform any kind of exit or withdrawal. Let's say, for instance, these protocol like Rocket Pool or Lido or any of these liquid staking protocol, they find out that one of their node operator is badly behaving in a way that harms the token, they will be able to forcefully exit the validator in question through
would that be a mechanism for managing the size of the LST, or would it really just be for bad actors?
It could be also a way to manage the size, right? So let's think about, like, let's say you have a compounding validator that has like, I don't know, 1,020 ETH on balance, and then in some way the DeFi result of like people trading that token makes it that you need liquidity, then you'll be able to withdraw from that compounding validator any amount, and then you'll be able to use that ETH to fill out those liquidity needs, for instance.
Okay, and that has me beginning to think about automated effects of the withdrawal queue, but that'll be interesting to see in the long run.
Yeah, so similar to exit, withdrawals can be performed from the withdrawal address. So the withdrawal address is really the one controlling all of these features. One of the things that you have to account for is that whenever you withdraw any amount, you have to leave at least 32 ETH on your validator's balance. So this is just a feature of the protocol. You can't withdraw more than to leave 32 ETH on your balance. So that's pretty much it for these new user triggered features. One other thing that will come with Pectra is more blobs. So there's this need for all of these L2s to have more data provided by L1, the mainnet. And there was this consensus where more blobs will be added. So I believe the changes is that the target will go from 3 to 6, so 6 blob per block, and a max from 6 to 9, so up to 9 blob per blocks. This brings me back to this bigger discussion around staking requirements, because this will have an impact on solo staker mostly. Since solo stakers are often like bandwidth restricted, this will cause higher bandwidth requirements, and you have to account for this. So there's this compromises, I believe, that they want to provide more blobs, but then you don't want to push all of these solo stakers out of the protocol because of the new bandwidth, right? So eventually, there's a lot of discussions about bringing new features such as peer DAS, which should lower the bandwidth requirements in the future.
That really makes sense. Like, we can't remain stagnant. Ethereum has been here, what, like 9 years, 10 years now, and like the cost of hardware falls over time. And I know this was a huge debate from Bitcoin back in the day, and now it's, you know, a concern for us. Like, we should be willing to increase hardware specs as the cost of hardware falls. And that's really just the minimum starting spec. But that has always been a point of contention for me, because I wanted to encourage more RAM and faster CPUs a few years ago, and everyone was like, no, we have to show that we can run on low spec hardware. But this is good. It's good to move forward.
I think stakers are very tolerant about like increasing hardware requirements, but some of them are very restrained in terms of bandwidth. So I believe if it was possible to like increase like CPU or RAM requirements and avoid having to increase bandwidth, that would be the ideal. But there's a few compromises there.
And I have to acknowledge, I have always had a blind spot for bandwidth because I'm lucky to have bandwidth. It's one of those things that you're not always thinking about it unless you're experiencing it. So that's a good point.
Yeah, I'm in the same case as you. I have like great ISP at my place, and I've never had any bandwidth issues at all. So this is just thinking about all of these stickers that keep telling us that like they might be on the edge here. And the last one is a faster deposit. This is a somewhat minor one, but they're changing the new validator deposit mechanism. It will reduce the delay between when a deposit is made and when it is recognized by the beacon chain, from like a few hours to a few minutes. So potentially that will make depositing much faster. But you still have to account for the queue, right? So if there's a lot of people that are depositing at the same time, you are restricted by the queue, which depends on the churn limit. And I can't remember on top of my head like what was that limit, but like there's a maximum amount of new validators that can be added to the beacon chain in each block.
Validator.q.com is a great place to check that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Current churn is entry is 8 per epoch, and exit queue is 16 per epoch. And right now there is no wait. So I'm sure by the time this shows it'll be different. Well, okay, so 4 or 6 hours, but that's effectively no wait.
So the queue
queue
remains the same, but then the time before your validator reach the queue when you do a deposit will be reduced. So that's pretty much it. If you want to learn more about this, if you have any question, make sure to join the ETH Staker community. We are answering all of your staking questions 24/7 for free. So simply go to ethstaker.org or scan this QR code, and we'll be able to help you.
One of my favorite things about ETHStaker is like anyone can go and ask any staking related question, and they're going to get a professional answer pretty much 99% of the time, the first shot. Like, there's always someone there. And I can say this, I'm not currently affiliated with the ETHStaker, but I always send people there. Like, they are a welcoming community. You're not going to get trolled if you come and ask a dumb question. It is, or what feels like a dumb question, because they're very eager to welcome people into the staking community. So I'm really proud that you all have shaped ETHStaker that way.
And our motto is welcoming first and knowledgeable second. So we try to welcome everyone who has any kind of questions.
Fantastic.
Thanks for joining SuperPhiz. Thanks for helping me with this quick video. It was a pleasure to see you again and a pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, and don't forget, everyone should check out the Ephemery testnet. It's at ephemery.dev, and I'm sure that Rémy will put a link in the footer. It's just a really great place to play, and some of us still just like to play.
Yes, make sure to check it out. Thanks for joining and have a nice day.
Thank you so much, Rémy.